Please mention in the chat box. Am I audible? Is the screen visible? So Six Sigma methodology, those who have the textbook, page number 32 onwards. If anyone is joining late, please help them out with the page numbers. So first, there are different methodologies like DMAC, DMADV, DFSS. We'll see each one in detail. Methodology is how you go about, okay, how you go about with the project, step by step. Okay, methodology you have to follow step by step. First step, second step, third step, fourth step, like that step is given to you. These different steps can be done by different people, or the same team can do all of these steps one after the other. Okay, it depends how you delegate your project. Okay, so DMADV stands for define, measure, analyze, design, verify. Okay, it is a Six Sigma framework that focuses on development of any new product, service, or process. Okay, and the DMADV is the acronym it is given for define, measure, analyze, design, and verify. And this is useful when you want to implement new strategies, something new, because of its early identification of success, basis in data, and thorough analysis. Something new if you want to do, okay, for the first time, you are something innovative, something new you are doing. Okay, DMADV is the best way to move forward. It also ensures optimum balance between three perspectives: your customer, their needs, okay, the process, procedure, and the goal and the objective of the company. Okay, all these things are in the objective list of this methodology. And this model is being used over 3 decades in various industries, including manufacturing, service industry, transportation, okay, and so on. And significant success has been seen using this methodology as well. And the main disadvantage, there is a disadvantage of DMADV. It is that the implementation part that takes precedence over creativity and innovation. When we say about something new, okay, something creative out of the box, something innovative we are doing, okay. But when implementation comes into play, okay, the priority is given to implementation. The creative spark which led to the use of DMADV, that takes a back seat. Okay. So always remember, DMADV is a methodology which is used for developing some new product, service, or process. So D stands for DMADV. D stands for define. Okay, define it's the first phase. Define the problem or project goal that needs to be addressed. Whatever customer deliverables are there. That needs to be addressed, that has to be defined. A clear definition of the project must be established during this first step itself. And every strategy and goal needs to be aligned with the expectations of the company and customers as well. Whatever you're define, the statement you're defining, the problem that you're going to solve using DMADV, it should satisfy the company's objective as well as the customer's requirement, both. Okay. The second step is measure. So in measure and determine the customer's needs and specifications. So this is more like a survey. This step is more like a survey. Okay. To clearly understand the customer's requirement and develop critical to quality. Okay. CTQ, critical to quality, is certain aspects in your industry is very critical to determine the quality of the entire organization. Okay. If a lot of patient morbidity and mortality is there in your hospital, morbidity rates and mortality rates are critical to quality when it comes to healthcare. Okay. If that is high, morbidity rates and mortality rates are high in your organization, definitely the quality, the name, the goodwill of your hospital will fall down. Okay, so that's one example, one example of critical to quality. You have to sometimes divide the market, your market, into different segments as well, to develop the critical to quality of each segment. So completely based on critical to quality, what is the current data, what are the current customer requirements? Okay, based on all this, measure phase has to be done. Okay, so you're analyzing what your customers require now, where your shortcomings are, where you have to improve a lot. Okay, what are the critical to quality segments you have in your hospital? Does any CTQ require improvement? Does do we have any negative feedback, positive feedback, etc.? When you find information about all these questions, you are in the measure state. Then analyze the process to meet the customer's needs. This is the third phase. And in this phase, the best design concepts, the new ideas, the best design that will address the voice of the customers, okay, that are developed. Okay, whatever solutions you can bring to the table that that will satisfy your customers' needs, it is developed here. And also in analyze phase, not just one solution, we should always have an alternative design as well. Okay, more than one solution should be there on the table. Fourth part is design a process that will meet customers' needs. This is the fourth phase. The best design which was selected, like more than one solution was there on the table. Okay, so which one was the best, that is developed in the analyze phase, and it is converted into a prototype, a pilot study. Okay, and this converting the solution into a prototype. Okay, simulation, even if you create a simulation center, you make a prototype. Okay, for 1 week you're changing the processes in your hospital. Okay, that is also the design phase. And finally, you have the verify stage. So verify the design's performance, ability to meet the customer's needs. That is the fifth stage. So whatever prototype you have decided or you have designed, whatever simulation you have done, whatever process changes for the time being you have brought into the industry. Okay, in the verify phase, you will have answers to the question that is it a successful design or not. Okay, so validating the prototype or validating the simulation and process, its intended function is tested here in verify stage. It is done to make sure that the whatever prototype you have, the simulation that you have, or the policy changes that you have will meet the customer's requirement. No further damage is there in the customer's feedback. Okay, these things will be checked in the verify stage. So that's about DMA/DV. Is it clear to all? Is it clear to all about DMA/DV? So this is also a representation of all the DMA/DV steps. So DFSS, okay, DFSS means Design for Six Sigma. So this is the methodology in which many tools, training, and measurements are used to enable the hospital to design products and processes that meets the customer's expectation and can be produced at Six Sigma quality levels. Okay, to be ready for Six Sigma, okay, it will take time for an organization. So DFSS is a methodology which will enable you to be ready for Six Sigma. Okay, so there are multiple methodologies that can be used here. Okay, in a traditional Six Sigma, you use DMAC method. That is the most common. We'll see that in detail later. So the methods and steps used in DFS uh, would vary according to the business or organization. When your company designs a new product or process from ground up, it requires a big time, resources, funding, etc. Okay, from the very first time. For example, you have some empty space in your hospital. Okay, you have a multi-specialty hospital. There is some empty space on the ground. You want to build a new complex there. Okay, so from ground up, you're building a completely new building. Okay, it could be a yoga center or a Ayurvedic center. You are integrating different medical sciences together. Okay, so from ground up, you are creating a completely new service. Okay, or a process. Okay, so in this situation, you will use the DFSS. You are making the hospital, the infrastructure, the process structure, okay, in such a way that in future, when Six Sigma will be implemented even in this new complex, the complex is ready for Six Sigma. So that is designed for Six Sigma. And many products today are highly complex, and it provides multiple opportunities for things to go wrong. If your design does not meet the customer's actual wants and expectation, your product will not provide value to the customer. Okay, and that the customer is willing to pay, the money that customer is willing to pay. If the product does not have value, you will lose your customer. So redesigning products and processes is expensive, okay, and it increases your time and market. But if you are using design for Six Sigma methodologies, you will, in the future, you will not have to go through a complete renovation or redesigning, because your foundation was already ready for Six Sigma changes. Okay, the foundation was made in such a way that it was ready for changes. The foundation of the building or the entire processes in the building is made in such a way that tomorrow, whatever changes are coming, we can easily accommodate it, because that is Six Sigma, continuously improve. Okay, but if the complex is not made using DFSS methodology, tomorrow when Six Sigma comes, okay, when customers are not satisfied, you may have to completely break down some walls of the building or break down the processes, hire new people. It will cost you much more if DFSS is not done properly at the first stage. Okay. So in DFSS, you have steps like define, identify, design, optimize, verify, very similar to DMADV. In define, you see what your customer wants, what do they want. Okay, for example, in your entire town, there is no Ayurveda center. Your hospital has a space, okay, where at least a three-floor building, okay, a moderate size three-floor building or two-floor building can stand. Okay, you give that area for an Ayurvedic hospital to be built, a small Ayurvedic, small bedded daycare center or something like that to be built. Okay, so you have decided that your customers will require an Ayurvedic center because your entire town does not have it. So customers' want has been described. Identify the customer and project. Here, in the second step of identify, you will create a small survey, okay, among the patients who come to your hospital. Will you be happy with an Ayurvedic center in this compound? Okay, you will get the answer from them. And then if the answer is positive, design. Okay, hire an architect, give them, this is the piece of land that you have within your compound. Okay, you want to create a building here. The design process will start, which will meet the customer's requirements. Customer may require, there are different branches of Ayurveda as well. Okay, Panchakarma, and so many different branches are there. So what kind of services your customer requires, that you will identify in the identify stage. Okay, and based on that, based on the customer's needs, okay, a completely new complex will be designed by the architect, and then construction will start. Okay, and optimizing the design, cost cutting, time, resources required. Okay, and finally the complex structure will be working. Okay, and that's when you will verify if the complex that you have built right now, is it working properly, is it successful or not. Okay, so this is the DFSS methodology. Is it clear to all? Now coming to DMAC methodology. So DMAC is the most common methodology used in Six Sigma. Here D stands for define, M stands for measure, A stands for analyze, I for improve or implement. Okay, in some cases it is implement as well. And then C for control. So define phase, select the project. In the define phase, you have to select a project, define a problem, okay, or whatever project goal you have to do, which has to be addressed, okay, that comes under the define stage. You will either you will identify a problem, okay, or the problem will come to you. Any of this thing can take place. Either you are identifying the problem as a quality control professional, or the problem will come to you from customers' feedback. Okay. And during and measure phase, here present situation. What are the exact parameters right now? What is the current scenario right now? You have to collect data about the process and the problem. Okay, what is the problem the customers are facing? Okay, the customers are facing a lot of issues in the billing department. Go to the billing department, see what actually is happening in the billing department. What is the process? How many people are there? How many billing receipts they are delivering within a day, within half a day? Okay, which are the peak hours when patients are facing the problem? You collect the data. What is happening right now? That is the measure phase. And analyze phase, here you will analyze the process to identify cause and effect relationship between input and output, identify the vital few root causes, also establish the process baselines, define what are the performance goals, identify variation sources. Okay, what are the common cause variation, what are the special cause variations that are happening, why the special cause variation happened, why common cause variations happen, what is the root cause behind all that, what is causing all these issues. Okay, that you will sit and analyze. Lots of brainstorming will be required here to analyze. Only when you analyze the problem, you find a root cause, only then you can give solution. Okay. And here solutions will also be developed, because while you are identifying the root cause, at the same time, you identified that lack of staff in the billing department is creating the problem with customers. So if there is a lack of staff, definitely you have to hire more staff. As you find out the root cause, immediately solutions will start appear. Okay, so here you're finding out the root cause. Along with that, solutions are also getting ready. You have options of solutions getting ready here in the analyze phase. In the improve phase, okay, determine the optimum value for key contributing process inputs, implement solutions to eliminate the root causes. So first you have identified the root causes, you have solutions also at your disposal to take away these root causes. Okay, now implementation part or improvement part, here you will actively put out in action what are solutions you have in your hand, in your paper. Whatever solutions are there on paper, it will be put into action in improved state. And finally, control C. In the control phase, all the standards are established. Okay, and improvements have been established, implementation has been done. In control, you will sit and watch where things are going wrong again. Okay, whatever solutions you have given, is it working fine or not? Okay, is it giving you positive results or not? That is the control phase. So in detail about each of these phases. So in define phase, you have to answer these following questions. What the customers actually want from the project. Identify the customer needs. What are the issues you wish to address? Okay, either the customer will bring the problem to you, or you will have to find the problems on your own. What is the scope of the project? If you start this project, okay, how far it will reach, how far it will give the solution, okay, what are the other benefits your hospital will get if you are successful in solving this issue. Okay, what are the critical to quality aspects of the project? As I mentioned earlier, critical to quality areas, there are various segments of critical to quality in a hospital. Okay, so when you deal with one problem, okay, how is it improving the critical to quality segments in the hospital? Okay, that also you have to identify. What is the reason for change? You can't bring a change as and when. There should be a proper rational, proper purpose of every action that you do in the organization. Okay, a proper reasoning should be there if you want to change something. So answer these questions and your defined phase will be established. Documentation of customers business processes, project team formation, because here team formation will be done. Who will be on the team, what will be their role? Okay, all this will be taking place in uh, the defined phase. Developing a project charter means how many people are there in this project, what is the objective of the project, who will be the head leading the team, who is the team leader, who will be answerable to whom. Okay, who will delegate the work, which team members will be on the defined phase, which team members will be on the measurement phase. Okay, that is how you develop a project charter. Requirements. Okay, creating a SIPOC chart is also a part of the defined phase. So SIPOC chart, series of steps and activities in form of inputs, outputs, okay, customer feedback is put into a chart. So suppliers, say SIPOC stands for supplier, input, process, output, customer. Okay, suppliers are patients, pharmacy staff, physicians, nurses, drug wholesaler. They are the suppliers for a hospital in a healthcare. Input is the prescriptions given by the doctors, medications, the quality of medication given to the patients. Okay, in patient information that is recorded properly within the hospital. Okay, that these all are inputs in a healthcare system. Processes, there are 1,000 processes in the hospital: admission, discharge, okay, LAMA, laboratory reporting process. Okay, there are different processes in the hospital, so all those processes will come under the processes chart. And output is the patient education, patient morbidity rate, mortality rate, okay, prognosis of the patient, that all comes under output. And customers are your patients, okay, they are the first customers. Your own staff also is an external customer, internal customer. Patients, family, visitors, okay, students, they all are the customers of a hospital. So this is how you generate a SIPOC chart. You have to be you should know who comes under which category in the SIPOC chart. Coming to the measure phase. Here, during the measurement phase, you have to do process mapping or workflow. Workflow process mapping has to be done, means identify right now what is happening. Okay, what were your objectives and what is happening right now? What is the gap between these two? Okay, what you were aiming for, what you dreamt about, and what is happening in reality. See the gap, measure the gap. Okay, measure overall performance of the core business processes also. Core business processes like admission, discharge, billing, insurance. Okay, these all comes under the core financing, budgeting. Okay, these are core business processes in the hospital. So see the performance, how people are performing here. Make a cause and effect matrix. Okay, you can the cause and effect can come in measure phase, analyze phase as well. You will use cause and effect matrix, cause and effect diagram. The fishbone diagram will be used. So data collection, how do you do the data collection? Everything is planned here. FMEA is also done here, failure mode and effects analysis. Failure mode and effects analysis means it's a prevention strategy. You're preventing any defects from happening before they occur, before anything goes wrong. You have strategies, policies in place to prevent errors from happening. That is failure mode and effects analysis. Mistake proofing. So cause and effect diagram, okay, just an example of like patient falls, increase in patient falls. Okay, that's the issue that you're facing right now in the hospital. Okay, now you have done the cause and effect for it. How people, how the staff, okay, people means staff, how your staff are responsible towards this patient falls. How the materials that you use in the hospital is responsible towards patient falls. How the processes in which you follow in the hospital is responsible for the patient falls. Okay, in all these criteria you find some defects, some improvement areas. Okay, this is the what you do in a measurement phase. Right now what is happening, that is what you're collecting the data on. Coming to the analyze phase, so here the Six Sigma aims to define the causes of defects, measure those defects, analyze them, and how you only then you can understand how to reduce them. Okay, so perform root cause analysis, identify what is wrong in the process, identify critical inputs. For example, in hospital, critical inputs are what? Your the kind of staff that you hire. Okay, the qualification, the skills of the staff that you have hired, the prescriptions that doctors give, the care that nurses give, okay, the health education that the hospital provides to the patient, the quality of raw materials used in the hospital. These all are critical inputs. Okay, reporting and recording processes in the hospital. That's also critical input. So develop a process to be implemented. That also you have to, and in the analyze phase, you have to sometimes create a completely new process to solve this problem. Define the revised CPOC and process map to be implemented, because here changes are on paper. Okay, you will identify where things are wrong, and as soon as you identify wrongdoings, you will create a change for that also, solution for that also. So everything is on paper right now in analyze phase. Process mapping is done, a new process mapping is done. Okay, root cause analysis are done, source analysis is done, data analysis, process analysis, resource analysis, communication analysis. These are different types of analysis done by respective departments. Okay, in resource analysis, you will identify that only trained people are there in the department. If training is inadequate, you will give the training. Okay, all the consumables used by patients, the kind of gloves that you use, the kind of medications given, quality of medications given. Okay, is it all up to the quality or not? Okay, so that is resource analysis. Communication analysis will identify how the people, the healthcare team is communicating between each other, how the healthcare team is communicating to the patient with their family. Okay, if there is any poor communication, issues of poor communication, that has to be corrected. So these are the tools used in the analyze phase: brainstorming, Pareto chart, fishbone diagram, scatter diagram. Each one of these tools we will discuss in detail when we will go to the topic of top management tools. Okay, run chart, flow chart, histogram, control chart, tree diagram. Okay, design of experiments, that is simulation. Okay, so all these tools are used in the analyze phase. More than these tools are used, some examples I am showing here. Then in the improvement phase, so this can be quick, easy, and satisfying if you have the correct solution. You identify the improvement breakthroughs. Okay, identify high gain alternatives, means steps that will drastically improve the quality. And you have to optimize the critical inputs. If you identify that the critical inputs in your hospital is not up to the mark, your staff is not as qualified or skilled or trained, you give them, you will optimize the critical input. Means what? You will give them training, you will send them to conferences, you will assign them to some webinars to learn new skills. okay, to brush their skills up. So that's an example of optimizing critical inputs. Okay, identifying improvement breakthroughs, that is some eureka moment. When you're analyzing, when you're discussing the problem with somebody else, you will have an eureka moment. Okay, that is an improvement breakthrough, something out of the box. You have a solution to the problem. Idea generating tools and techniques are applied here. Brainstorming is done. Okay, NGT technique is used here. Nominal group techniques are used. Creative thinking processes are used. Okay, identify and select high gain alternatives. Only keep the processes and steps that will give you high gain. Okay, rest everything else you have to dump, you have to change, you have to erase it off from the face of the organization. Only the steps and processes that will give you high gain will be kept. Okay, think systematically and holistically. Don't think microscopically, think holistically. If you are functioning in one department, okay, holistical thinking means you are not just thinking about that one department, how this change will contribute to the department, how this change will contribute to the entire hospital. Okay, prioritize and evaluate the solutions against solution evaluation criteria, because you will have more than one solution to a problem. Okay, but you have to select the best solution possible for your current scenario. Okay, so you have to use a solution evaluation criteria. Pros and cons you will have to make, basically. Okay, conduct a feasibility test to identify which solutions will give you better returns with less investment. That is what we want. We want to do very less investment, but you want high gain. Okay, so that is feasibility assessment you have to do for all solutions. Develop preliminary solution timelines. Cost benefit analysis has to be done. This will be done but by the finance department. Okay, finance department or accounting department will do the cost benefit analysis. Train the people. You may have to send your senior staff, or you may have to hire a consultancy agency to train uh, the existing staff. Okay, so these all things will take place in the improvement phase. So these are the tools used in the improvement phase. Root cause analysis. Okay, identify solution and practical methods. Evaluating the effectiveness and feasibility test is done. Barriers and aids analysis, that is resistance and aids analysis. Who is resisting the change? Who is supporting the change? Okay, cost benefit analysis. Pilot studies are done. Okay. Then finally coming to the control strategy, control phase. So here, whatever improvement you have brought in, sometimes those improvement or solutions may not work. Okay. In the control phase, you will be able to identify it. Okay. Is it working or not? Is the solutions, it's a hit or a miss? Okay. So quality control is done here. Overall assurance that high quality is met. Customers' expectation completely depends on quality control. So quality control is done. Every department has their own strategies of quality control that has to be followed. Standardization is done. So whatever solutions that you have brought, which is smoothly operating, which has given solution to the problem, and it is smoothly operating, helping in smooth operation of the process, that becomes a standard. That solution will become the standard. That solution that you have brought in recently will become the policy. Okay, that is standardization. Then control methods and alternatives. Any if the solution that you have brought in the improvement phase, okay, whatever action you have taken, if it is not working, make sure you have alternatives. You have plan B. Okay, you have to come up with alternatives so that the problem will not left hanging as it is. The problem should meet an end. Then responding whenever defects occur, that is continuous improvement. Whenever anything goes wrong, respond, do the research and report. So this is about control strategy. The Pareto chart, graphs, SOP, that is standard operating procedures, control charts are used in the control phase. So that's all for Six Sigma